You say that you're not necessarily expecting the Fed to announce tapering plans until November. So where are you seeing the risks for next week?
Sure. Thanks. Good morning. Look, there's a couple of things that we're focused on. The first of which is the Fed will announce its dot plots for 2024, which have yet to be revealed. And we think there's a good chance that you'll see a couple of hikes penciled in for 2024. The way we've been looking at the rates market recently is the observation that front end rates are just way too low. And so as you've said earlier on the program, we don't think the Fed announces tapering plans until later this year, likely November. But I do think there's some short-term vulnerability with regards to the 2024 dot plots.
Given the uncertainty there, it's not surprising that we continue to see the pessimism over perhaps also growth concerns around the world being spread across emerging markets as well. Do you see any opportunities now the valuation seems to have fallen so much?
We do, and it's a great question. Look, for the last 2 or 3 months, we've seen spreading pessimism with regards to emerging markets. Part of that has been a growth story. Part of it has been fear of Fed tapering, and obviously the COVID narrative has been challenging in parts of EM as well. But what that's done is it's pushed EM assets to historically cheap levels. Emerging market equities trade at a roughly 40% discount to the S&P. Emerging market sovereign debt trades at a discount to U.S. high yield. And so we think as we look around the world, there are some very good pockets of opportunity.
Where specifically, because we know as far as Asian EMs go, some of them have been the hardest hit in terms of the Delta variant, but also some of the best performers too in terms of the equity markets.
That's absolutely right. And look, one of the things that we think is underappreciated by markets at the moment is that you've seen a significant improvement in vaccination rates in Southeast Asia and India as well. Now, we know that Southeast Asia has had its COVID challenges over the course of 2021, but more recently we're seeing Singapore, Malaysia, and as I said earlier, India as well, really surging in terms of those vaccination levels. And we think that the assets related to those markets are not fully factoring in that improvement. And that should be a very big net positive for growth.
We're, of course, also looking ahead to the China domestic activity data. How much of a drag on growth do you see the regulatory overhaul, the crackdown, as being when you take a look at these numbers?
Well, look, I think there's a short-term impact, and then there's the medium-term uncertainty. The short-term impact is clearly through sentiment, and we've seen a big pickup in uncertainty that's affecting consumer spending. It's affecting the real estate markets. But medium-term, the narrative that this regulatory crackdown is somehow going to end the private sector's sort of innovation and the entrepreneurial spirit, we think goes many steps too far. We think the technology sector in China will remain an extremely attractive source of growth. And the other thing that I should point out is, China was the first to really demonstrate a significant economic recovery coming out of the COVID crisis. And I think what we're seeing today and what we expect to see going forward is a rebalancing of China's economy to more sustainable growth levels.